The system alert echoed like thunder across the Nexus. Unstable subclass detected. Monitoring event imminent. Every player saw it. No matter their zone, no matter their level. From bustling capital cities to the deepest frontier dungeons, the message pierced through combat logs and trade windows, drawing universal attention. For most, it was nothing but a curiosity. For guild leaders and legacy hunters, it was a declaration of war. Kale knew what it meant before the whispers even reached his ears. When he exited the liminal zone and crossed into the nearest settlement, Ashvale Outpost, the air was already thick with speculation. Traders clustered in the marketplace, voices buzzing like flies. Unstable subclass. Must be a bug. No, it is a dev teaser. New expansion hook. I bet one of the top guilds forced a trigger. Maybe Eternal Forge. If it were them, they would already be bragging on the forums. Kale kept his hood low, the shadow-forged blade hidden beneath his cloak. He slipped between groups of players, listening more than speaking. The alert had changed everything. His fight with the Knight of Aegis Dawn was no longer just a duel. It had painted a target on his back. And if the knight had reported before dying, Kale's name was already circulating in private guild channels. In a dim-lit strategy chamber miles away, the guild leaders of Aegis Dawn convened. He shattered Radiant Bastion, the knight explained, face pale in the projection feed. Not bypassed. Shattered. That is not supposed to be possible. Murmurs of disbelief rippled through the table. The guild master, a woman with stern features and a voice like steel, leaned forward. You are certain this was shadow forging? The knight hesitated, then nodded. The weapon was alive. Feeding on my light. I have never seen mechanics like it. The guild master exhaled slowly. Then our course is clear. If one player can hold a legacy class, others will follow. We cannot allow outsiders to control it. Aegis Dawn will claim the unstable subclass. By force, if necessary. Orders were sent. Scouts deployed. The hunt had begun. Kale secured a small room at an inn, locking the door behind him. He pulled the blade free, watching its veins pulse faintly in the half-darkness. The whispers had grown louder since the duel. They no longer spoke only in fragmented phrases. He thought he heard words half-formed, urgent. Forge beyond the pattern. Break the light. Embrace silence. He set the blade down, rubbing his temples. His mind buzzed, torn between exhilaration and dread. The system had recognized his path. That meant recognition from players was not far behind. Once the forums started speculating, it would not matter that his name had not been broadcast. Hunters would come. And yet, a part of him felt vindicated. After betrayal, after starting from nothing, now the entire Nexus was shifting because of him. The next morning, Kale ventured cautiously into Ashvale's market again, this time blending among traders. The fallout was already hitting the economy. Shadow silk, a rare crafting material once ignored, had tripled in price overnight. Shadow-aligned runestones were vanishing from shelves. Even mundane dark element gear was suddenly in demand, gobbled up by speculators hoping to ride the wave. He caught snippets of merchants arguing. It does not matter if this unstable subclass is real or not. The hype is enough. Buy up shadow mats while they are cheap. Too late. If you want us to keep making more stories like this, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Azure Inkblade. Now, back to the chapter. Some guild already cornered the supply chain. I heard whispers. Aegis Dawn is buying. Kale smirked faintly. So the guilds were already moving. That was good. Distraction favored him. Still, he made quiet purchases of his own, careful not to draw attention. A few bundles of shadow silk. A crystal etched with dark runes. Enough to keep forging, enough to prepare. That night, The Outposts tavern was louder than usual. Screens flickered with forum posts, speculation threads climbing into the thousands. Top theory is that it is a dev event. I swear I saw a lone player carrying a blade like living smoke. You are full of it? No way, and nobody unlocks that. The system does not lie. Kale sat in a corner booth, hood up, drink untouched. He scanned the room, noting guild scouts by their colors subtle, but obvious to trained eyes. Aegis Dawn was not the only one sniffing around. Iron Dominion had a presence too, their crimson insignias marking them as ruthless PvP opportunists. The storm was brewing, and he sat in its eye. Later, as he returned to his rented room, Kale paused. The air shimmered. For a brief second, symbols flashed before his eyes, not system text, but raw code, jagged and wrong. He recognized it from the liminal zone, a glitch or something pretending to be one. This time, the blade reacted violently. Its whispers rose into a chorus, shadow flaring. Kale staggered back, gripping the weapon as images cascaded into his mind, visions of a colossal forge buried beneath a void, runes seared into its walls, figures hammering shapes from shadow and light alike. When the vision faded, he was left breathless, his blade trembling like a living thing. The whispers left behind a single phrase, clear as day. Others walk the path. Find them, or be consumed by them. Meanwhile, across the Nexus, guild chatter boiled. System alert confirmed. Reports suggest shadow forging is real. Target, lone player sighted near Ashvale. Orders, capture alive if possible, kill otherwise. If subclasses are destabilizing, this might tie into forge mechanics. Prioritize data collection. Shadow alignment likely key. Every major guild now had their eyes turned toward one corner of the map. Ashvale Outpost, once a backwater settlement, had become the center of a storm. And Kale was the lightning rod. As he sat in his room, trying to steady his thoughts, Kale's HUD pinged. A message notification blinked: direct, anonymous. That was supposed to be impossible. The sender's tag was glitched, ////error_user. You do not know me, but I know you. Shadow forging is only the beginning. Legacy classes were not meant to exist, not like this. If you want to survive, meet me at the Hollow Spire. Midnight. Come alone. Kale stared at the screen, every instinct screaming caution. A trap, almost certainly. But the words cut too close to ignore. Legacy classes were not meant to exist. Then what was his blade? What was he becoming? The whispers inside the weapon pressed against his thoughts, urging, hungering. The choice was his: heed the warning, or risk being swallowed whole. Kale tightened his cloak, eyes narrowing at the distorted text. The storm was not coming. It was already here. If this mysterious figure truly knew more about legacy classes, Kale had no choice but to find out. But walking into the Hollow Spire at midnight could be the step that ended his path, or began it anew. Either way, the echoes of his choices now reverberated across the entire Nexus. And there would be no silence again.